Welcome back to the Rocket League DreamHack Championship, ladies and gentlemen. Just had an exciting first match, and we've got another one on the way. I'm Wavepunk, and I've got some lovely people here on the desk with me. Johnny Boy, Shogun, how are you guys feeling about that first match?
It was closer than we thought it would be.
Certainly. Higher level than we expected. Although
Yes.
we knew there was going to be at least one good team when we spotted Sneed and Zidrox on the rosters. Those are familiar names, but we saw a very, very close game. Overtime in the third. So
And it
very,
is
very
that
good.
nice thing as well of the game has evolved. The game's been out for a while now. There aren't just a couple of good teams. A lot of the teams now that play, they at least know the fundamentals. And that helps a lot towards not having complete goal blowouts or getting games like we just had right there of pretty close, tight-knit battles.
Yeah, certainly.
Absolutely. Also, Karma. Karma's still here. We're going to be getting into game. How are you feeling about it's Penta versus BX3, I believe, right now?
Yes.
I'm looking at Penta this time. Penta is a RLCS name that we've recognized. They're an RLCS contender that we've seen before. And I'm looking for them to establish dominance against this BX3 team.
Right, so we are going to get ourselves into this game, which has already started up. So, Johnny means that we don't have to try and verbally tread water this time.
I can hopefully verbally tread water better than I can actually tread water. I am a terrible swimmer.
I don't think I ever got like my silver certificate in swimming at all. But this is a team right now in Penta that will be looking towards possibly taking the entire tournament. They are an outsider for it, but they are certainly a team that we are looking at. Killer number 7, a player that's been relatively quiet in my opinion ever since the RLCPL, where he did actually win the entire thing.
Yeah, former teammates of Pashi and Siki, more well-known German players. Killer number 7 is a sort of veteran. He's been around for a long time and never really looked better than he has on this roster, Penta. I think this is the best iteration we've ever seen of him. Pondix and Freaky must be bringing the best out of him. But BX3, we knew nothing about this team before today, but I did get a chance to see them playing one ranked game earlier. I was watching Diffused Boys, that's Pashi, Scrubkiller, and Nielscock, getting an early scrim in on ranked, and BX3, they were taking them to the wire. So this could be closer than we expect. Good strike by Killer number 7. It should have probably been defended. Looks like we had a little bit of a fight at the near post from BX3. They'll be wanting to avoid any repeats of that situation.
And BX3 have got one of those players that we did name drop earlier, Sacred. I didn't actually know he was here today, so I wouldn't have praised him at all.
Yeah, Secret is just another one of those players who has a pretty big presence in the online ranked Europe scene. There's going to be quite a lot of those players popping up in team names that we're not familiar with, and then we see the roster and we think, oh, this could be a good series or a good at least couple of games. And BX3, wow, they do tie the series with Complet. Really well done here to get a dunk, follow up the play himself. He rotated really wide there to give himself all of the options that he needed. Should that ball bounce down at a different angle than he expects. Very well done.
Yeah, it's a case of he understood that he had his teammates. So why not just go for the possible mistake on your opponent's making it? And there he took it, and that is going to tie up this game. And that is the opportunity for Sacred to start moving forward as he passes it straight back to his teammates.
BX3 certainly looking dangerous. I saw the couple of goals that I did see them score against Pashi, Scrub, and Nielscock in ranked. Included a double touch rebound, self-set, off the backboard by one of their players, and a mind game goal. So they're certainly playing at the top level in terms of mechanics and decision making in offense. And so far, haven't looked too bad defensively. They're making a lot of interceptions to the midfield. So we haven't seen as many shots from Penta as we might expect. Good clear to the side there by Complet, showing that he is not. He's just here to.
Oh no!
Oh my goodness, that wasn't the best play though. He had a pretty solid defensive move before this, and then he's really had a bit of a blunder at the near post here, moving forward too early. Center ball by his teammate, not what you want to see.
So BX3 now find themselves behind by a goal. And that is going to be just about halfway through this game now. Both these teams are looking fairly solid and a lot faster and quicker with their rotations than we saw in the previous game.
I've just noticed that I was wondering this. I thought this guy Complete is doing so much here. He's carrying, he's all over the place. But then I realized all 3 of the players have that in their name as part of the team name. So my bad on that one.
They're not helping us out here by having a name and then another name.
Oh my goodness, I'm struggling to read all of these. It's bad enough when we're in Sweden and I can't read all of the Swedish words. And now we come to cast a tournament and all of these players have multiple sponsors in their name. What a shot by Pondix.
Oh, that
one of the best
bounce,
strikers in Europe is Pondix, I would say.
Freaky wanted to get to that ball, but the bounce he could not anticipate. And therefore, there was going to be no third goal for Penta. Here's the opportunity to try and put it in, but that is too much of an angle. That's still dangerous, though. And Sacred is going to tie this up.
Another close series here. We did not expect this. We thought this was going to be another tournament where it starts off pretty slow, pretty one-sided, with a lot of very one-sided games. But another close affair here. Sacred and the boys are bringing it to their far more well-known opponents. Penta, we have to remember, are a team that have struggled under pressure online, failing to qualify for both RLCS Season 1 and 2 group stages, and only making it into Season 3 group stage from an additional round that was introduced to replace a team who had a player from a region that was not allowed to participate, so they really only made it in as 9th place in Europe, you could say.
Certainly are a team that have had much more time to perform in much more minor tournaments, usually the weekly champs. I haven't managed to transition it anywhere else. Still tied up, and we are into the final minute of this matchup. Double commit means Freaky needs to get contact, and he's managed to get a little bit just to slow this game down enough so Killer and Pwned can rotate themselves back. Pwned, one of the better players in the world, and just carrying that ball long distances. Killer can keep going. He's got an open net to aim for, and that is Penta in the lead.
Smart placement. He even made it difficult for his teammate to steal this goal as well by shooting it so far to the right. He's saying, Pwn, if you want to steal my goal, you've got to be risking a miss. So please, let me have this one. And he does. And Killer on the board.
That was a huge call by that final defender for BX3 as he just charged forwards, almost close to the middle ground of the pitch. You have to win those as that final player, otherwise you are going to concede. That is exactly what happened, but that is an unconvincing touch. Still opportunities for BX3 to move themselves forward, and they are going to need it. That is going to be off that back.
Nicely done.
Just managed to get up there in time. Freaky takes the bait, but does manage to get it away. And that is huge for Penta.
Surprised that I haven't seen a demo attempt from Pondix yet this game. One of the most notorious demo players in the game. Killer number 7 taking that away from the goalkeeper. Well played. And they're looking to just play keep away for the final few seconds here. The goal does stand in their favor, and that will hit the ground. 1-0. Penta Sports take game 1. A closer game 1 than we expected, but they did look like they had that under control for the most part.
Yeah, definitely very good in terms of the fundamentals of their gameplay, rotation, boost management, and aerial gameplay.
And
all
goatees, phenomenal.
Oh, that
One
is
of
a
the better
solid
ones I've seen
goatee.
in the Rocket League scene.
That's not like Greasy's
Strong
I'm
goatee.
thinking about it sort of goatee. He's not committed to that goatee just yet. That is full-on Rafa Benitez style goatee.
Oh, certainly. That was looking very good. Could be what's giving them such a strong stage presence. If you see a goatee like that up against you at the other side of the stage, that's going to give you, something else to think about outside of the game.
If he's
and
willing
taking
to
players
commit-
outside of the game, give them something else to think about. That can,
You have
can
to
make
be
it more
knowing
difficult.
that if he's willing to commit to that goatee, he is willing to commit to that ball.
Going to commit to anything.
He is going. You will not be able to stop him. But Penta find themselves a little bit closer in that game than they would have originally anticipated. But BX3 really showing up. Just a couple of mistakes early on in the game did cause that to be a little bit more against them than they would have wanted. As we get ourselves prepped for game number 2. And this is now match point as we head on to Manfield for Penta Sports.
Yeah, game faces were on for Penta there. They don't look too worried by what the task that is ahead of them. Some nice pre-jump saves coming out of Killer number 7 there. Bit of a high attempted read from Freaky on the wall. We'll see if he's going to make that same move later on in this game, and indeed the series. Try to block those clears out wide. It's something that we're seeing a lot more, especially at the high level of Europe Online Rocket League. Getting on the wall preemptively to try and stop the other team from clearing the ball in that avenue.
Jules might actually have an opportunity to set up one of his teammates just too close to the ball. We saw that a lot during our last series as well. And finally, that third rotation came through. Should not have been given that amount of time as Killer. Crucial touch to take it from the oncoming, bombarding offensive player. We are all tied up, just a minute down. Freaky tries to get himself in the way, but that is going to cause one of the teammates on BX3 just to try and keep that away from their side. Now Pone gets that off that top part of the wall. Only 90 seconds into this matchup, we are still tied up as Penta looks to start boost starving and pressure it into this final third.
Interesting to see Pond bring in the Batmobile today. Of course, a common car for competitive Rocket League, but for the longest time, he was one of the most prevalent Dominus users in Europe. And he was very, very good at that car. Of course, with the car seeing less play, it is good to see it getting some representation. But this time, Pondix hops on the Batmobile bandwagon.
You know, I'm sad, you know. I'm thankful for the Aussies, who at least showed us some Dominus love. Because it used to be huge just a year ago, and now we're seeing it nowhere. It's almost like the Batmobile just took the spot. And now we have the Mantis as well, which is almost taking that spot. That was almost turned straight into the net by Freaky. But we are still all tied up. BX3 doing a very good job of just controlling themselves that little bit more and spreading themselves out across the pitch.
Yeah, they're holding strong in game 2. And a nice clear from Pondix, but only able to get it as far as Jules, who has been doing a pretty good job of reading the clears off Penta. And we're far away from the player, but we can see bar down and out.
Oh, 2 players missed.
Denied by the crossbar's Killer, but Pondix will come and slam it in from point-blank range. Easy goal for him. He can survey everything that's happening in front of him. Wide open net. He even puts it behind the goalkeeper, who was recovering. Nice placement by him.
So Penta, if they can maintain this lead, they will put down BX3 and continue their journey in this tournament. Here comes Freaky. Just can't quite get that past the final defender.
Interesting that Killer wanted to pop that ball.
Killer still wants to go. He's refusing to give
I
up.
feel like he realized that he'd put his defender in a bad position, and he tried to make up for it himself, but he had no boost to his name. Oh, the demo coming in from Pondix. We have to look out for those, especially against teams who are going to defend their nets a little bit better than BX3. Expect to see Pondix making those sweeping lines across the goal to try and get bumps and demos. Honestly, the most notorious player in Europe for that strategy. Very frustrating to play against.
Oh, Sacred tried to just sneak that into the near corner. Was not able to do so, and now they are starting to run out of time. 1 minute and 45 remaining for BX3 to find at least a goal. If they cannot, then they will be defeated. That's still dangerous. Penta will look for that second. They will get it until Dwolls comes in at the final possible moment and tries to go for the carry. He has been huge here. Managed to get the pressure away from his team as well. But Penta so good at spreading themselves out in that defense. Just getting one player to get contact, getting another player to get contact, and finally you find it out of your own half, you are safe.
Yeah, a lot of credit has to go to Freaky. Rarely giving away possession in the 1 game and 4 minutes that we have seen. Giving his team a lot of security at the back. So we have seen Killer number 7 throwing himself at a lot of balls with no fear of Freaky double committing with him. Because Freaky's such a good player at the back. Oh my goodness, another bouncer on the line. Does get cleared. This really shouldn't be happening, but the jitters of the stage are definitely coming into play here.
And Penta have never played at a LAN before. This is completely new for them. And those whiffs could be a sign of those nerves starting to show up. And Penta, as you can also see, are leaving someone back all the time. They do not want to commit through. They are not going to go for a V. They're going to go more for an L. Just leave someone back all the time. Ensure that that goal is not conceded. And they will pick up a win.
It's a good half flip out of that aerial by Pondix. He realized he was getting beaten to the ball. Half flips back into position. And he's in position to set up Freaky, who's made a little pilgrimage from his defensive location. Well done to tap that in. There was a little bit of interference in front of him, but he just ignored that. Read the miss, gets the 2-goal lead. Comfortable cushion for Penta moving forward.
And that is something that pro players do very well that I've noticed I do very badly, and a lot of other players do in ranked, in terms of you hesitate. You see something that could happen and you think it will happen. Instead, Freaky just commits to his original thought and he gets rewarded with a goal, and Penta will be rewarded with a 2-0 sweep. Big for them. and they'll continue on in this tournament.
Yeah, one of the scariest teams in Europe. All of the best teams in Europe hate to play against these guys because on their day they are so awkward to play against. The demos from Pondex, Freaky so solid at the back, and killer number 7 has never looked better on any roster than Penta, even in his glory days with Crown and Jewels winning the RLC Pro League. And for them to get a win in their first series could be huge. This is a team that has been plagued by lack of confidence online, and I feel like getting a win on stage against tough opponents, that could set them up for a great tournament here.
Yep, certainly is. So Penta move on in this game, and to break all of this down, we're going to go over to Wavepunk and Karma.
Thanks so much, Shogun. So Penta, we see them come out here in the beginning. As they pointed out, a top 8 team in Europe. They were in RLCS this past season, so we've seen these guys play quite a bit recently, and they looked very much like a top 8 team here against BX3.
Absolutely, yeah. They took control early, scoring the first few goals and never looked back. Pondex looked good. He was scoring. He's in my opinion, their main scorer. He was getting in there, doing the dirty work for them, killing number 7, and Freaky were doing a good job backing him up.
Yep, Freaky and Pondex, killing number 7. We've seen these guys all been playing for a while, and Killer has, as they pointed out, I like that Johnny brought up that piece of trivia that he was on the winning team back in the RLC Pro League, one of the first official leagues we ever had, the first kind of like robust leagues we ever had for Rocket League. So really cool to see those guys coming out here, getting the win. They'll be moving on. Pretty clean 2-0 over BX3 there. How you doing, Lawler?
Doing fantastic. Good to be back. Fantastic match. It's our first sweep, obviously, of the day.
Yep.
And why not with a team that has had quite a bit of history with us in the Rocket League with Penta? I mean, these guys have been trying to get in the RLCS once after another. They finally made it in this past season. Now they're here performing at the best.
Yep. So what did you guys think about BX3? This was the first time we saw them. We've heard a little bit about Sacred, but Etrex and Jwals were new players. I'm hoping I'm not obliterating his name there. But these guys, I had not seen these guys play before. What did you guys think?
I mean, I was impressed by them coming out against a team like Penta, who gives the top teams in Europe trouble. They've made RLCS the past few seasons, and they have such good names again. And they took them. They're both 1-goal games, and very close series all around. I was impressed, definitely.
Yeah, very, very close that last game. 1 goal down to the very end. So yeah, very much just a kind of a 1-goal game. So great to see them come out and make that competitive. Again, it's a double elimination here in the beginning, so they will have one more time to try and play before being eliminated. But Penta did not make it easy for them here. Pondex, big part of that. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great.
Good to see you.
Great to be here.
Glad you are here. So is this, they said this during the game, that this was y'all's first LAN. Is that true? Is this the first time you guys are playing on a stage?
It's the first time we're playing together, yes.
Yeah, wow. That's actually a really interesting point. Because of online play, you guys all play in your houses. This is the first time you guys have actually played sitting next to each other,
I mean, Freaky and Killer has been playing together at different LAN, but I wasn't there.
You weren't there. We had
Left
you
at home.
We had your big face reveal for the first time on Twitter yesterday, huh?
Yeah, I did.
Everybody knows it, and everybody knows what you look like now, too, on stream. So get out here to interview. Talk to me about this match. How did you feel about these games and the clean 2-0 you guys had over BX3?
I think we didn't get to play as we would like to play. I think we were nervous first time playing together on the stage. We were playing a bit slow for what we would like to play like we used to play.
Sure. So feeling not as comfortable, but the team you went up against wasn't too big of a challenge for you, and you were able to cleanly take it in 2 games, didn't have to drop a game there. And now, how do you feel moving forward? Does it feel like you get some of the nerves out with that game, and maybe you'll be better moving on to the tournament? Or are you guys still feeling like you got some kinks to work through?
Yes, hopefully we're going to be able to move on and get the nerves out of the way so we can play the game we would like to play.
Cool, awesome. Is this your first time at DreamHack?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, me too. What do you think of the event so far?
It's great.
Yeah,
it's really big.
Yeah, it's really
Get lost
big.
a little bit every once in a while. Like you go down the wrong hall and there's another like 3,000 seats. You're like, why is this here?
Where am I?
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
It's one of the first ones because it is also spread out too. A lot of times of these sorts of events I go to, and I feel like it's all in like one big convention center, like one big hall, and this one's like a bunch of separate halls, and it's like you could easily get lost here with how much stuff they've got going on. But so your first match goes cleanly. You guys looking pretty good in your group stage right now. Talk to me about the other teams that are here. Which teams are you most afraid of playing right now?
It's actually really hard to say because there's a lot of newly mixed teams like Flipside and Guild Force. So it's actually really hard to say which one is our biggest opponent.
Yeah, so
because we haven't played them.
Yeah, we'll see as we go on, I guess. For sure. Yeah. Any other thoughts? Any shout outs you want to make? I mean, it's first time here on a big stage. You guys get a big win. Got any fans you want to shout out here?
Shout out to my mom.
Always good to shout out your mom. I think I'm
Make sure you shout out your dad tomorrow, though.
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
Father's
lie.
Day.
I will.
that's right.
So
I remember it was my mom's birthday during one of the RLCS broadcasts, and I think I forgot to call it out, and I felt so bad.
you should.
Yeah, that was.
Did she remind you?
No, I don't. No, I reminded myself. I've reminded myself a few times about that.
It's a little bit better.
Always good to call it mom
I
when you
mean,
get the right
without my
chance.
mom and dad, I wouldn't be here. Not just for giving birth, but without having that car,
Going
I
way
couldn't be,
back.
So your parents are really supportive of
yeah,
your Rocket League
they
career?
really are.
That's fantastic. That's actually a really big
Amazing.
deal right now, because especially as esports is becoming a newer thing.
Right.
A lot of times the older generation doesn't quite see eye to eye with the new generation that likes esports.
Should've
So
saw we had a hostess on the plane on the way here, and
Uh-huh.
like the guy next to me was talking about Rocket League and stuff, and
Mhm.
and the host goes up like, "Oh, where are you going? What are you going for?" I'm like, "Oh, it's work. You know, we're here to broadcast and stuff." And she's like, "Oh, cool." Like, there was a moment where she like kind of died inside. It looked like, but then she was also like, "I just don't care," and then like kept going and doing her thing. So
for sure.
some of the older generation just don't really grasp it.
Hey, they're getting there. Pondex's parents on board already.
That's right.
Great
They're
to
really
see that.
supportive, but they don't really understand where the money comes from.
But it shows up in the
Magic.
bank,
It's
right?
actually
Magic.
how it actually works.
Yeah. No, I remember the first time I wrote a sound. I wasn't big in music before esports, and I wrote a soundtrack for a dude that I had never met, all online. And my parents the whole time were like, "I don't know, this seems shady." And then a check showed up in the mail, and they were like, "Well, something was real at some point. He made money from somewhere, so it was a real thing." We can take a look at the schedule that we have for what we've got for the remainder of today, and see some of the matches we've got coming up. Team Infused versus Survivors is coming up next. The team that we saw win the first match, going up against Doomsy and the boys, and then later we'll see Gale Force Esports take on Skater Boys. I cannot wait to see Skater Boys as a big Avril Lavigne fan. I am excited. Will they say see you later to Gale Force? I don't know.
That hurts
You
a little.
you can do it. You can power through this. I believe in you.
Why?
I throw puns at you for 3 seasons now.
But it doesn't mean it gets any better, man. You think after 3 seasons you'd be like, they really don't like this, and you're like, gonna train on through.
Okay. Did you watch the first series here, Pondex, with Survivors versus Game Effect?
I watched the last game.
The last game?
Yeah.
So just give me a prediction here between Infused and Survivors. Who do you think is going to be taking it?
I think Infuse is gonna win.
Think Infused is going to? What do you guys think about this?
Yeah, I'm going with Infuse. I can't pick against my boy Doomsy.
It's
Can't do
hard
it.
to argue against those guys. Like,
Yeah.
even if you look back at past experience, like they have the LAN experience, they did show up at Insomnia. Like, as much as I want to give credit to how they played with Survivors, it's just Infuse is gonna be a little bit too much.
Gotcha. Well, Pondex, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us, and good luck in the rest of the tournament.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. When we come back, I've been told it's actually going to be Gale Force is going to be the next match, so we'll see them after the break. But we're going to take a quick one here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.